Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Back at it again at Farlin. Nothing really new going on today. Got the day off, hooray, thankfully, so I can enjoy warmer weather a little bit. So at least have a little bit more time to enjoy warmer weather. Soccer ball. So had to work, last night and whatever. So it went actually pretty good last night. I already got a couple soccer balls at home, so. That didn't work as planned. I wanted to send it straight and it went sideways. I'll just leave it there. I'll get it I'll walk that way. So Dad finally sold the fucking car because he had it, because they bought the Kia from Mom, because then Dad took over the Trailblazer. And, because of the issues going on with the car. And so he sold so Dad had bought Mom the Kia, transferred everything that was her, most of the stuff out of the Trailblazer that was hers. Dad took it over and took everything that he could out of the Grand Prix at the time and put it in the Trailblazer, because then that Dad started driving the Trailblazer. So then he switched transfer radios, because then he finally got the sub box and shit out of the car, the sub box and the radio, because he did all that, and that was all aftermarket. So he wanted all that back, otherwise he'd be wanting more for it. I would think he'd want more for the car. So then took the stereo and the sub box out of the fucking car. Needs a new sub for that box if Mom ever decides she wants. Her sub's in the Kia. Her sub's out of the Trailblazer in the Kia. Because then Dad's going to have to find another sub to replace the one, because there's a hole in it because of the ceiling fan from Grandma's. And then so that's got to get scrapped now, which the sub worked before it happened. And then now it's got the hole, so I'm thinking it still works, but I always went by the common rule of thumb that if there's a hole in a sub, a big speaker for bass, and you get a hole, useless because it's going to sound like shit. And because there's a hole in the cone, so I don't really understand why you got to get rid of a sub if there's a hole. So I don't really understand it enough, so... So if Dad puts that box in the Trailblazer, I thought about running the idea by him to go to the pawn shop and see if they just have a couple of loose subs that are a pair. Just the subs. You don't need the box, don't need the amp, don't need the wiring, because Dad's got the box, the amp, and all the wiring. So if there's any loose sub, I thought about giving the idea, Mom does want the sub box from the Trailblazer in the Kia. Dad can just run the wiring from the Grand Prix, because all that shit's free, free, meaning it's not in anything, so you can just blop instead of having to rip everything out of the Trailblazer. So the RCA is the ground cable, the power cable, the remote wire. All can go in the Kia to be used for the sub box for that, because then Dad just gotta go plop everything, blop, 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 change the stereo over and all that, and so on and so forth. So I think they gotta find the thing to work with the steering wheel controls for the radio. So you gotta find the thing to make an aftermarket radio work with the steering wheel controls, and have to transplant everything over. So I don't know what's going on yet. So if I don't forget, I'm gonna run that idea across Dad today and tell him, because I was looking for them already on Marketplace, but people want, asking price brand new for a fucking, where I can go on Amazon and order a brand new 12-inch Scar normal size sub for Dad for $300-$400. And people are asking that for fucking used clapped out garbage. Used shit. Maybe $150, $200 at most. $200 at most. Take $150 to $175 and call it a day. So, I don't know. Which makes no sense. I mean, I get that, if you got two subs, an amp, all the wiring, and the box, ask $300 because you got a lot there, so ask $300 for everything. That makes sense. That there makes sense. But just for the fucking subs alone, they're asking $300 for a pair. That's no way in fucking hell for a used sub you'd be wanting that. You ain't gonna get it. Because it's used. If you paid that paid that for the sub brand new, or subs, because you got it on sale, because there's times Scar will do sales. If you pay $300 for a sub brand new, a subwoofer, brand new, there's an issue. And you want to get that money back, there's an issue. I mean, I get it. There's always money to be made somewhere. But when it comes to something used, a lot of times it's, especially with electronics, there's not a whole lot of money to be made. Because it could be on its way out and not know it. It could be junk and somebody's trying to sell junk and not care and people not know it doesn't work, and they get it, and it actually doesn't work, and people ghost. So I don't know. So, but anyway, guys, I'm gonna end the video here and get some writing in, and then go get some lunch. So, but anyway, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video.